father's disapproval, it seemed he was still willing to let her stay at the house even after turning 18. In a text message publicly shared by Blue, her father expresses pity for her, saying, "It is your decision to live your life how you want to, but I don't have to agree or approve of it. I feel sorry for you, because the path you're choosing is hard and lonely." But things for Blue began looking up as she reached 45,000 followers on Twitter and earned herself a job working for Domino's as a delivery driver. She announced this alongside a photo of her with a coworker who also identified as a furry. This was short-lived, however, as detractors of Blue would supposedly email pictures of her leaked nudes to Domino's, resulting in her being fired. These nudes were allegedly obtained by an A-log named Jericho, who possibly collected them through direct messages or her private on Twitter. For those unfamiliar, the term A-log spawned from Anthony Logato, who became infamous amongst Chris Chan historians for his over-the-top and extreme criticisms of the well-known lolcow Chris Chan. Essentially, an A-log is a troll or detractor who goes to extreme measures to provoke or criticize a lolcow, typically expressing an unnecessary disdain or hatred for those they target. These people also share many similarities to the lolcows they despise, believing that they are superior despite sharing those same shortcomings. All of these traits reflects the behavior of the original A-log. Thus, many believe that some of Blue's A-logs shared many similarities to her, being gay or trans furries themselves, who felt that she gave the furry community as well as transgender people a bad reputation. This allegedly compelled Jericho to do what they did, and would compel future A-logs to harass and eventually dox Blue. Something also worth mentioning is a call-out thread posted in late December of 2022, where Blue alleged that in 2020, she was groomed by a local furry who went by the alias Rascarge Redfin, both online and in person. According to the story, Blue was 15 at the time, while Rascar was 29. Allegedly, after meeting up in person with some mutual friends, they began flirting over text messages. This flirting soon became in real-life cuddling, before evolving into a full-on sexual relationship where Blue would sneak out of the house and the adult would even sneak into Blue's parents' basement to have sex with him. Blue states that she had recently had a revelation regarding all of this and that she was finally able to move on. Blue's history of online conflict and her recent falling out with her father not only earned her the attention of A-logs, but would also garner the attention of online users on the infamous drama site Kiwi Farms, where a thread was posted documenting many of the same events discussed thus far. In February of 2023, Blue would acknowledge this in a video uploaded to Twitter, where she seemed to take it on the chin and laugh it off.
So, I got doxxed, but like, I've just gotten to the point where I've had to go through so much stuff online that I don't care anymore. So I'm just kind of vibing. And
despite claiming that the trolls couldn't get to her, this didn't seem to entirely be the case, as shortly after, she would wipe nearly 100,000 tweets from her account and unfollow nearly 5,000 people. Regardless of her supposed mindfulness, Blue's next encounter with trolls would prove to be something that she couldn't ignore. On February 11th, 2023, a 16-year-old trans girl named Brianna Gray was murdered by two fellow students in what was determined to be a premeditated hate crime. This story would garner a large amount of notoriety, specifically in the online trans community, as many felt it was a reflection of the unwelcoming social climate that trans people are forced to endure. But that's not to say everyone felt sympathy for the situation. Valid Els is a now suspended anti-trans gimmick account that sought to mock, harass, and even dox transgender individuals online, something that the now deceased Brianna Gay would not be spared from. In a post announcing the passing of the 16-year-old girl, Valid Els would respond with a cigarette emoji. Instead of expressing sympathy for the murder, Valid Els chose to mock the entire thing, which obviously upset a lot of people. On top of this, they would also post an image of a gravestone marked with Brianna's birth name and labeling her as a casualty of cultural enrichment. Blue would find this behavior disgusting, publicly criticizing them and calling for their deplatforming. But this public callout would not sit well with Valid Els, who would set their sights on Blue Fulf as their next target. They would soon post screenshots of Blue allegedly grooming a minor by initiating roleplay on Discord. With allegations of this nature, obviously people were very angry at the idea that Blue had victimized someone under the age of consent, and as a result, some more passionate individuals would take matters into their own hands. Some would even go as far as to track down and contact Blue's estranged father, informing him of these screenshots. "I just received the following text. You're an adult. Stop it or you're going to end up in jail. I will not bail you out for this. Your mom thinks we taught you right from wrong. Apparently not. Please keep us uninvolved with your freak life. I'm not interested in receiving these calls or text messages." Blue would quickly profess her innocence, stating that the screenshots in question were fake.
about how I was grooming minors or whatever. It was a fake screenshot. There's tons of proof here. It's been confirmed by the chat itself that they're just doing it to me.
Despite the inauthentic nature of these messages, many had already made up their minds in regards to Blue, as they would continue to harass her over the coming days. Luckily, there were also a large number of people who had her back, and were more specifically fed up with the Valid L's Twitter page and their antics. With all of this support, Blue began to feel she had a valid case for a defamation lawsuit, and so she started a GoFundMe to help her pay for legal costs and hire a lawyer, where she would raise over $8,000 from nearly 300 backers. While on the surface, it may seem like she had a strong case considering the faked messages, considering the actual terms to qualify defamation, it seems like a battle she was destined to lose. For starters, the Valid L's Twitter account was run by an anonymous individual whose identity was necessary to take this to court. Blue fortunately had the option to subpoena Twitter to release the information of the Valid L's administrator. If a United States court informs Twitter that the information of a certain user is necessary to continue with legal proceedings, Twitter is obligated to supply them with that information. However, this opens up a John Doe lawsuit, which is used to determine the identity of anonymous or fake online profiles. This process comes with a long list of potential complications. On top of this, successfully suing someone for defamation is no simple feat. Defamation is more than just saying something that's not true. It requires 5 specific qualifiers to meet the standards of defamation in a court of law. These standards are: 1. The information is publicly posted. 2. The person being defamed was identified directly. 3. There's a negative impact on the person's reputation. 4. The published information is clearly false. And 5. The defendant is at fault for the harm caused. While the first 4 qualifiers seem to be met, the 5th standard is where issues arise. It is obvious that Valid L's is heavily implying that Blue is a groomer. However, there is ambiguity they could hide behind legally. For starters, Valid L's never directly states that Blue is a PDF file. They simply posted a picture of what appears to be them speaking to a minor. They never directly state that the photo is authentic either, which could easily be chalked up to a simple joke for legal reasons. This meant that Valid L's would not technically be responsible for the harassment Blue had received, as it could be argued that people had misinterpreted the post. Now, this isn't to say that Valid L's didn't deserve to be sued or have some kind of legal repercussions, but it is to say that the bar to prove defamation is very high in the United States, and Blue had a long road ahead of them if they really wanted to follow through. And ultimately, the $8,000 that was raised was simply not enough to fund a legal battle of this magnitude. Even Blue states in the description of her GoFundMe that she would probably need to raise upwards of $25,000 in total, and even that is an understatement. With all of this combined, Valid L's felt as though the lawsuit was worthless, even going as far as to label it as a scam. He didn't even consult or contact a lawyer beforehand. If this case is even possible, he isn't even aware of how much a defamation case would cost him, even if considering his chance at winning it. His so far $7,000 is just a fraction of what would be the total cost, and I don't think a kid who just lost his only income of dad's financial support is able to pay the lawyer long enough. He also set the GoFundMe donation goal to $1. Why? GoFundMe lets you withdraw as soon as the donation goal has been hit, so he'll use that to withdraw the money as soon as possible. He promised to refund all of it back to everyone, but not sure how that will happen now after it's been withdrawn. Blue only has 3 options now. 1. Refund all of it back. 2. Find a lawyer and actually use the money on that. 3. Run away with the money and instead get fursuits, sex toys, and tickets to furry cons, but that would be fraud. Due to the lack of funding and the seemingly unwinnable nature of the case, Blue would back out of the legal pursuit and probably refund all of the backers. I'm not strong enough to handle the Valid L's lawsuit, so I'm canceling it. It's too much pressure and it wasn't a good idea. I'm sorry for letting you all down. I only wanted justice to be served. Refund should be issued within 3 to 5 days. PM me if you don't receive it. I know I'm gonna get so much for this, but I just want it to be over. I can't handle it, so I'm locking my account for a bit. I was serious about this the whole time, but now with how big it's gotten, and it's just become a disaster. Despite separation from the lawsuit, the damage had already been done. Threats of litigation only further provoked online detractors to continue to harass and target Blue, resulting in her being swatted. This caused Blue to deactivate her Twitter before reactivating it a little over a week later. The harassment would persist, with her trolls hacking her Discord server and nuking it.
One of the trolls hacked one of my admins on my Discord server and was threatening them, and the entire server was pretty much just deleted. All the members were banned, and it was awful.
They would also log into her Twitter, changing her username to state that she was a child enjoyer, along with her full docs in the description. She was luckily able to regain access to her account and delete the sensitive information. Blue also went viral in September of 2023 with a poster she created featuring her persona in a gay pride sports bra with text stating, "Trans rights are human rights." This was met with backlash from both detractors and supporters alike, with the latter feeling as though it made trans people look bad. This is something Blue claimed was devastating. As for her detractors, some would discuss the poster on Soy Jack Party, where her college would be revealed, as well as her new apartment address being doxed. Despite all of this, Blue was adamant that she wasn't going anywhere, and unfortunately, neither were her trolls. On October 30th, 2023, an article written by Claire Goforth was published to the Daily Dot, exposing a hate site that sought to gather as much information about Blue as possible. Not only did this site apparently reveal Blue's full docs, but also offered cash rewards for any information given to the owner. This included $75 for a full log of Blue's private account, $100 for her current phone number, $500 for proof that the Valadell's lawsuit was a scam, and $1,000 for evidence that Blue was a child enjoyer. The latter also offered an additional $1,000 if Blue got arrested, and another $1,000 for a successful conviction. A section of the site reads, "If you're friends with Caden and have proof of what he does, this is your chance to clear your conscience. If you have evidence against Caden that may also incriminate you, please contact me, and we can work out a deal that keeps you safe while bringing him to justice. Have something else worth sharing? I might be interested. Contact me." While the article written by Claire was obviously critical of the unknown site, it seemed to do more harm than good. In an update posted to the site after the article's release, it read, "Thanks to the free publicity from my good friends Claire Goforth and Lucas Ekberg, I've received a large number of reports about Caden over the last few days. I have multiple emails with corroborative evidence that Caden is involved with several infamous furry zoophiles and zoo sadists, as well as downright horrific reports about grooming. And yes, both of these have to do with scat. I'm currently reviewing this information and will publish it as soon as I'm able to verify its authenticity." In a later statement posted to the site, the admin demands cooperation from Blue or else they would leak a previously unseen video. However, it appears an error occurred which leaks the Windows user agent of the site's administrator, whose name is listed as Jericho. Jericho was previously mentioned as they were apparently the one to leak Blue's nudes on Twitter. While it is possible that Jericho is behind the site, this could also be some kind of gay ops run by the admin to obfuscate their true identity. Regardless, nothing ever seemed to come of this, and the allegations of grooming and zoosadism were likely fabricated or exaggerated. Or, if they weren't, there has been no credible allegations or proof regarding